Hi, I'm Todd Henderson. Today I want to show you how to install the Gator SR2 on this 2014 Chevy Silverado 1500 with a 5.8 bed. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so this truck has a bed rug. First thing we're going to want to do before we install the rail is we're going to peel the bed rug down to gain access to this little plug directly below the stake hole pocket. We're going to pull that plug out and discard it. We're going to take a utility knife and we're just going to kind of make a little plus notch right in there. Directly above the hole, underneath the plastic bed cap, we're going to need to install this rubber shim. So we're going to peel the adhesive off the back of it and pry that rubber bed cap back and slide that up in there and set it in place. All right, now we're going to go ahead and take the rail. This is the passenger side rail. You can tell this passenger side because there's no trigger latch. And the seal for on the side of it needs to go up against the inside of the bed cap. We're going to rest that up against the inside of the bed cap, slide all the way forward up to the bulkhead. Once we align that seal to where it's even with the top of the bed cap, we're then, just to hold it in place, we're going to take this squeeze clamp and hold the rail to the bed cap. Now from here on out, everything I do to this rail will also be doing to the driver's side rail. So what we're going to do is we're going to find our first clamp. We're going to spread that clamp apart. We're going to go as far up on the bed rail as we can before we have this piece that obstructs us where we can't go any further. We're going to slide that clamp up in there, get as far forward as possible. We're going to want to tighten down this bolt, tighten the clamp. We're going to use a 9/16. Get it tightened down the rest of the way. Now next clamp back, what we're going to do first is we're going to make sure that the seal is up at the top of the bed cap and then set the clamp just like we did the front clamp. All right, our third clamp, we're going to spread that apart as well. Get it in place. We're going to move that as far back on the bed cap as we can. Tighten that down. All right, next we're going to take our very large clamp. Now, this we're going to need to take apart. So we're going to undo this bolt that holds the two pieces together. We're going to keep it attached to this portion. Now, this is your inside clamp, and the short end goes towards the bottom. The tall end goes towards the top. What we're going to do is we're going to lower that down into our stake hole pocket. We're also going to find our little hole that we made in the bed rug. We're going to push the bolt through there. When we do that, we're going to make sure that our clamp is locked into the rail. We're going to look inside the stake hole pocket. We're going to line the bolt up to the threaded holes on the clamp. Now this one we're going to tighten down with a 1/2 inch. Now this is where we would be installing a bulkhead seal. This cover, or this truck already has a bulkhead seal from a cover we just took off, and it's adequate. This kit also is going to include a seal. So if you don't have a seal on there, you're going to want to put the seal from one end of the bed cap all the way to the other end. You want to go to the inside of the bulkhead. You don't want to go towards the cab, but towards the tailgate on that bulkhead. Now what we're going to do is we're going to lift up our cover. We're going to set it onto the rails. We're going to notice on this cover we've got some bolts that slide back and forth in extrusion on the head rail. Those bolts are actually going to drop down into these oval holes we have on the rail. We also want to make sure these straps are hanging down into the bed of the truck. When this rolls out, the rubber on the end of the rail is going to be facing towards the cab. All right, make sure the bolt goes all the way over where it drops down in place. The head rail needs to drop right in front of your tension adjuster. Now with that bolt hanging down, what we're going to do is we're going to take our spacer washer, we're going to run that over top of the bolt, and we're also going to take our 9/16 nylock nut and we're going to thread that onto the end of the bolt. We're going to do that on both sides. All right, now that we've got that in place, we're going to pull the rail toward the tension adjuster and then take our 9/16 and tighten that down. When we get that to where it just makes contact, we don't want to over tighten that. Now I can barely slide it back and forth. That's the way we want it. We're going to go ahead and roll this back to the tailgate and check our tension on the cover. All right, so we check the tension. We can close the cover, but it's actually still just a little bit too tight, so I'm going to show you how to adjust that. What we're going to do is we're going to release the trigger latch. We're going to roll it up to the cab of the truck. Now, since this is too tight, we want this header block to come a little bit further back. So all we're going to do is we're going to turn our adjustment screw, and we're going to allow like maybe about another 1/8 inch for this to come back. We just want to make sure that what we have done on this side, we have exactly the same on the other side. So we pull that header bar back. Now we got the tension perfect. If we needed to adjust it further, we just roll the cover up to the front and fine tune that tension. If you have any questions, call the experts. We're here to help you out.